Okay. Hello, everybody. Tyler Tiffy out here, back for another practice stream. We're on week 26, and I'm just gonna continue with the whole 2 minute speed sketches. Um, so just a real quick thing about yesterday. Yesterday I said I might go into streaming my commission. Wasn't sure if I was able to. So I did look into it. And I'm pretty sure I can do it. So I will be streaming later today. Um, I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna do my actual commission on stream. So look forward to that if that's something you're interested in doing. Um, but instead of actually working on the commission yesterday, I actually took some time and invested a bit more into the stream. So if you already noticed by the intro, I've got some music playing. Um, and that was pretty interesting for me to do because if you've been in my previous streams before, I've spoken about, not I wasn't willing to play music during the stream because it was going to distract me, and that was a sacrifice I was willing to make in terms of entertainment for you guys, the viewers. But I've learned that I can actually have some kind of audio music play on the stream, and it actually doesn't play on my side. So there were actually solutions. So I have something set up. It should play within a few minutes while I'm drawing. So, oh, actually, hang on. Okay, well, I won't be. I made a little mistake, but so basically, I forgot to lower the volume. So when the music actually starts playing and I start talking, you probably won't hear me, but it's okay. I've got a contingency plan for that. That's what I mean. That's if you guys wanted to actually hear me talk. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It's already a little after 1, and these sketches take about 1 hour to do. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm all prepared. I got 2 minutes on the clock. Let's hit the pencil. I'm gonna start with the first drawing. I have the references, but all my references are going to be off screen because that's something I know I can't show. And yeah, let's try this out. Now, if I can just get the chat to work. Still haven't gotten it to work. I don't know what's up with Restream, but Restream's giving me so much problems with me using the chat box. And as always with these sketches, I want to start by forming the body first, and then ground it by drawing the legs afterwards. And then usually, the arms we just wrap it up by just drawing the arms. And we've got ourselves a drawing or a sketch of a person. All right. That's 2 minutes for the first one. As we learned from before, if we do 4x4, Well, I don't want to say four by four was wrong. I'm sorry. If we do 4 sketches per page, we will eventually hit 10 layers, which allows us to be organized and neat. And that's the cool thing about like practicing on a digital medium. You have like unlimited paper. If I did this every day traditionally on a sketchbook, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so many books. Okay, so there should be some kind of like, music playing on the stream side eventually. So I hope you guys enjoy. I picked out some pretty relaxing tunes. And of course, everything's gonna be instrumental just because I want to be able to speak and not have another voice distracting me. Plus, I think in terms of like an activity like drawing, I just think anything with lyrics is just too busy. Because then it'll start dictating where your thoughts are when you're trying to be in a creative space. That I feel like that hinders you. Okay, 2 minutes for the next one. Okay. Finished adjusting time. Oh, thank you. Hello there, Mad Art Lover on Twitch. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm, not sure if you can hear me. I'm like currently testing out like some audio stuff, so there may be some music playing in the background, but I forgot to lower it. So I don't know if it's like overtaking my voice right now, but really appreciate that. Thank you. Slowed mode? Oh, you're referring to like no, I think I know what you're talking about. That there's like a delay, right? Yeah. As a matter of fact, actually give me a second. Let me actually pull up, I can fix this right now. We're just gonna go here and there, that should be better. Hopefully I didn't make it too low, but that should be better. But yeah, so there's like, the default just puts it kind of it's it's set up to have like a delay. I just haven't changed it. But I agree with you. I don't see the point of having delay if I'm not playing like a video game, right? I'm just doing artwork. Oh, okay. Then that's probably like a default thing because I haven't really got into those settings yet. Probably, maybe. But thank you for pointing that out. I'll go ahead and take a look into that. Okay, so my 2 minutes passed, but let me just kind of like, yeah, put in those little details. Go ahead and make another sketch in 2 minutes. Yeah, go ahead. Shoot. Why art? Well, in terms of what? Why art? What? Like, why am I streaming art? Or why am I drawing art? Or why did I put the subject as art? Okay, why am I pursuing art? Okay. Okay, so why am I pursuing art? Well, I'm pursuing art because I believe that there's a lot of value in human communication, for sure. You know, the human experience is a very, very, very big thing, and it's very personal and different for a lot of people. And together as humans, I think it's a powerful thing where we're able to share our experience and help each other grow. So that's pretty much like the main reason why I'm pursuing art, just because growing up, I was like a very, I don't want to say emotional, but I was just very like good at just kind of like, I just wanted to be able to just help people and communicate with people. And I learned from a young age that I had the ability to visualize and communicate through visualization. That was just like a skill set that I was just, I guess, born with apparently. But I was just really a very visual person, and I was just good at communicating things visually. And growing up, I was also very, I'm not gonna say lonely, but I didn't have like a lot of role models, right? I would say. So, um, so basically, a lot of like the things that I've learned and a lot of like experience that I've gone through, I felt like I was only able to go through it because I was at home consuming, some form of media, right? Whether it was like a TV show or a cartoon or a video game, right? And, in these works, we have characters and stories that were created by, real life people who also had this ability to communicate, uh, you know, in these different forms. And I felt like having that experience helped me a lot growing up. And so that's kind of where the passion for all of this came from, where I understood that, hey, I have the ability to create things in a visual form, and I can use that to communicate things to people, to communicate things that I feel like are important, things that I feel like, people could possibly experience via by proxy, because that's an advantage that we get to have in this space. And overall, that it's my belief that that's going to be my contribution. So that's pretty much like the major reason why I'm pursuing art. Uh, so I can share my experiences in a way that's helpful to other people. So primarily, I draw. My work is, I work on comics primarily, because that's the kind of medium where I can use visual communication to tell a story, in a way that helps share an experience that I believe would be helpful for people going through, something that's pretty similar. And my mini pad is bugging out for some reason. Keeps getting stuck on the control key. So I end up just switching this around. But yeah, that's pretty much why I'm pursuing art. And then, on because that's how I feel and that's where my motives are, that's kind of what fuels me and drives me to just do it. Because I'm moving in a way where I feel like I'm doing something that's pretty meaningful and helpful. So yeah. Are you an artist yourself, or you're just like someone who appreciates art? Oh, I see. Okay, that's cool. But I will say one thing that I did learn in school is that the reality is that anyone could be an artist, but you just have to understand where your skill set is, and that was like a tough thing for me to understand while I was in school. But yeah, we all have like our brains work in specific ways, and there's just like different types, and ultimately the way your brain works determines what kind of artist you are, which I found was very interesting. So that is what makes the difference of, like, for example, like I'm working to be an illustrator. Well, I am an illustrator, but let's say I'm struggling trying to be an illustrator, and I'm practicing and I'm just not getting it, and then it turns out the way my brain works, I would actually be a lot better pursuing, like, doing architecture, making blueprints to design buildings. You know, art comes in like so many shapes and forms, and it goes into so many different avenues, and a lot of people don't really look at that. Uh, when they kind of pursue this kind of thing, they just want to be able to fit in one field, and if they can't fit in it, they just kind of like, you know, give up, is what usually happens. But yeah, but I always like to share that little tidbit that I've learned, just because, you know, it may just be the kind of like, I would say, the brain blast that is needed for some people to really like understand where their forte is. Which is the only reason why I would ever advise anyone to go to art school, to kind of figure out where their skill, you know, where their skill set is, which field they kind of excel at. This arm goes over here. But yeah, that's something that you could even share with, like, if you have friends who do art, you can share that with them as well. I put the leg here. Spine comes up here. And of course, I didn't have enough space to draw this leg stretching out. So let's kind of shrink it down here. I'm just wondering how I'm gonna put the fourth pose in. I'm trying to do 4 poses per page, like four sketches per layer. But this pose really takes up a lot of space. Go down here into this little corner. Nope. Let's undo that. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm a big advocate for knowledge is power, so, you know. I feel like the more people know and the more people understand about things, the better decisions they can make. And you make better decisions. You make better decisions and life turns out better for you, you know? I hate to see bad situations happen to people when they didn't know better, you know? So I'm always like being that person. 2 years, no luck. 2 years of drawing. My comic. Okay. So basically, the genre is, I labeled it as drama romance because I dove into some kind of writing 101, and it's just kind of like I wanted to make it I wanted the main genre to be romance because that's typically where it's centered around. But according to writing 101, if you're gonna do drama, okay, I can't say too much because I'm gonna end up spoiling like a big factor of the story. But basically, the synopsis is that the comic's about a young man who discovers he meets his daughter from the future, and he discovers that he's going to be a father. But he has no idea how this daughter is going to come to be. He's already struggling navigating life as it is, and has no experience with women whatsoever. So that's my comic that I'm going to be releasing next month, which is targeted towards, mature audience as well. So I want to mention that, mature audience only, because, it's about love, relationship, and all that stuff. And a lot of dramatic things happen, which is why I have to, I labeled the genre as drama. Did I say that right? Yeah, I labeled the genre as drama. Genre and drama just sounds like the same word sometimes, but yeah, it's drama / romance. Gonna draw some legs here. Yep. So it's called the title is called Reborn Daughter. And it's a dramatic adventure of a young man searching for the mother of his future daughter. Oh, you lost your job? I'm sorry to hear that. What kind of job was it, if you don't mind me asking? Well, I like to be very optimistic about things. But I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get back into getting a new job. You just have to be very confident in yourself. The key is to be able to sell your abilities, which I'm pretty sure you have. If you've worked a job, you have some abilities. You just probably have to sit down and just kind of really put it all on paper to really see it. Hey, no need to feel offended. You know, as a matter of fact, you know, I think if looking at the way the story, the comic kind of, you know, where the storyline goes, if you're a person, if you're a guy who has no experience with women, I think this will be a very, you know, the comic will have a lot of value for you in terms of like understanding what that experience is like. But you know, nothing wrong with not having experience. And this is why when I look at, you know, stuff like comics and animations where they kind of simulate these experiences in a form of a story that, you know, people can consume, that's why I think it's very helpful. Ah, junior developer programming. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure that in that field you can pretty much get another job if you really look for it, and that requires a specific skill set which you have. Let's see, get the hamstrings. There's a lot of muscles here. I'm actually gonna try to capture some of the hamstring muscles here. Say one thing that I did this year is study anatomy, so I'm very conscious about all of the muscle groups that make up the body. I went to the library and I got a whole med book and I just looked at the skeleton and each muscles. The only thing I couldn't do was like memorize the muscles. Hey, listen, man, I know what it means to be broke. I'm broke too. And it's very annoying. But, you know, everyone deals with that very differently. Uh, I've been poor all my life, so the way I grew up, I just kind of, I just accepted, you know, I just learned to accept it. I don't have a desire to like be rich or anything. As long as like my regular needs are met, I'm pretty much satisfied with that, and that's, you know, that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know, I've got shelter, I got water, I got food, and I have a device that allows me to draw, and internet that allows me to share it with everybody in the world. But yeah, but I also understand, you know, when you're working and that's where your finances are, obviously you're relying on that to keep everything together. But you know, but you can be a realist and you can be optimistic as well. I would just say at this point, you just need to work on the solutions. Because being upset isn't gonna like, help you, right? The saying goes, there's no use crying over spilled milk, right? So it's just kind of like that's just how things have become. You want to become an artist? Hey, okay, I'm happy to hear that. Well, I will tell you that becoming an artist is as simple, and I learned this in school. So, being an artist is as simple as being able to convey what you visually want to, tell your audience. So, for example, I'm drawing a human. If you're recognizing that this person I'm drawing is a human, right? It's an actual person, then I have successfully done what an artist does, right? And that this is what essentially makes me an artist. Now, obviously, people want to do this in very different forms, and they search for very different skill levels, and they want to be able to convey things in a particular way. But ultimately and generally, if you're able to just you know visually create something and convey it in a way that you want to, then you're officially an artist at that point. Now, art as a career, you know, that depends on how you want to kind of use your particular skill set, right, to convey visual information as a career. And I would always argue that, there are a lot of avenues, there are plenty of opportunities that you can take for art. But, it all just comes down to what you want to do and then having an understanding of where that's going to take you, right? Like right now, I'm doing freelance art. So, freelance art is very inconsistent. It's very random. It's not stable. And I made that decision understanding that. But, if you want something more stable, then you want to go to a studio, right? And it depends of what studio you're looking to work for. So, you've obviously got to aim. You need to aim at a studio that you want to go work for. Look at what kind of stuff they're making and just be able to just kind of replicate and reproduce those kind of things. So, in terms of like the path of an artist, it's really important to know where you're aiming. Because if you know where you want to go, you know what you want to study, right? And so, like on my practice stream, I'm studying like sketching the body, and I'm doing this thing where it's just like I'm doing it in another 2 minutes. So I'm trying to get the form really fast, trying to draw the body real fast, because ultimately my goal is to do comic book art, right? Comic art, and for comic art, what's mostly important is speed and accuracy. You want to be able to draw things in an accurate way, but be really fast about it, because these stories, you got to tell them in a visual way, and creating these things visually take time. And if you have an audience who's into it, you have to be able to produce things quick enough. So these are the kind of things that you got to target and practice if that's what you want to do. And that's what I'm doing here. And I'm streaming. I do this every day, but I stream it on the weekday. And practicing is very important because, the way my professor explained it at school, it works. Your brain works like a muscle, and it's all cognitive skills, and you're trading your brain's cognitive ability to generate all of these images onto the paper or whatever medium that you're having, right? I have like a digital paper here in that case. So, but it works like a muscle. You have to exercise it all the time. And, you know, if you don't, you end up losing that ability, and you'll have to start over from scratch, and etc. and etc. You know, think about it like becoming a bodybuilder, you know? So if you truly want to be on the path of art and you truly want to be good at it, right? There's like a commitment. You have to stay committed to it, and you have to practice to it. Now, you don't have to practice daily like I'm doing it, because I'm like, I'm super hard mode right now. So I'm working really hard because I'm trying to get as much as I can, as fast as I can, because this is all I want to do, and that's all I'm using my time for. But obviously, not everybody has the time to do it like I do. Some people have to use their time of their day to do other things. So, I always recommend just kind of like, fit it in a way that works for you. I think it's more important to do the action more versus how much action that you're doing. So like, if you practiced every day for like 10 minutes, that's better than like practicing 3 days a week for 30 minutes. I am just drawing legs today. Sorry, like I like throw my references from like a folder, and I just kind of like throw the whole thing in there, and I'm going through them one by one. So I have no idea what I'm running into, but yeah, this is just what happens when you have random references. But it looks like a lot of my references are gonna be legs today, which is fun. But yeah, so in terms of being an artist, where are you looking to work as an artist? Or what do you want to work on as an artist? That's the money question right there. Alright. See, normally I always start with the head, but these are the exceptions to the rules here. So I'll just start with the body. In the previous sketches, I was just starting straight from the hip, but now I can start from the body. And as always, I'm using prior knowledge of my studies from before in order to create these sketches. Even though I'm using a reference, I already have a good understanding of the structure of the body. Like, I kind of know where everything is. So I'm able to be pretty accurate. Yeah, for sure. That's that's what it's all about. And that's pretty much what my channel over here is about. If you need some kind of motivation, you want a practice buddy to be with, you can always join me live on my stream, or come check out let me see, 3D as a modeler. Oh, okay. So yeah, I have a friend who's doing this, who's also interested in the same thing. So, but ultimately, practice makes perfect, and also there are other avenues that you might want to get into that would help you visualize the whole thing. So for 3D modeling, I hear practicing with clay is very helpful, like IRL. Because ultimately for 3D art, right, like 3D models, when you're doing the 3D models, it's all about shape and form. And you want to create that in a digital space. So I haven't done anything like that, but I have some friends who do. And from what I understand from their experiences, that's pretty much where the goal is. That's kind of like where the main frame of work is. Just being able to understand the different volumes and the shapes, and then kind of sculpting that digitally. So the traditional version of doing that is just practicing with like a clay sculpture, or even like, if you want to do wood, get a block of wood and start removing. Because that's, now in terms of that's the most I've done in school. I've done wood. I've sculpted wood before. So, interesting experience because it's more about eliminating, extra, the extra space to create that internal figure that's inside. Internal, not eternal. And that takes a lot of, that takes a lot of cognition. You have to really be able to see it inside of wherever you're creating. So, practice the fundamentals. Get your brain into this state where it's able to visualize those forms a lot easily or easier, and you'll be in a good spot to start creating things. And there are free tools that you can use online for sure. I'm pretty sure Blender is one of them. And in terms like career wise, I've met a guy who, I live in New York, so I met a guy in New York who uses his 3D models to create like model representations of of areas in New York. So he works for a company that builds places. Let's say they wanted to build a park somewhere in the city, and they wanted a blueprint, a plan of how that park is gonna look like. What kind of benches are they gonna make, right? How many trees? How are the gates gonna look like? They need a visualization of all that. So he works in a team where they make 3D models, and they just kind of create this pretend version of whatever park they would want to make it. Let's say, for example, right in the city, and they'll have a model of the city, and then they'll use the models and they'll put it in there and they'll recreate it digitally. And that's kind of what he does for work. Oh my goodness, 2 minutes done already. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm at layer 7. So we're almost at the end here. And my mini pad is still being wonky. Alright, so the head is right here. Body's over here. This is gonna be, I'll do a box just to kind of visually show where the hips are. And then the back kind of arcs here. There you go. Just erase all the extra lines here, and I've got like 20 seconds to just kind of plug in a lot of the rest of the details, like the arm, which was saved for last as always. No, okay, there we go. Wow, the negative space here is interesting. There we go. And then it slightly comes out over here. Oh, I didn't even start the clock. I'm over here like, man, I feel like I have a lot of time to work on this. That was wrong. Let's go straight to the next one. Okay, so I have to really imagine like the whole head here. Oh, you want to do that job? Well, I wasn't particularly interested in doing that job, but he did tell me that if I was ever interested to download Blender and just create stuff, create objects that you see in everyday life. So like, create chairs, create tables, create things under Blender and just dabble in that. Okay, well, unfortunately, it's how do I say this? So, unfortunately, you're mistaken here. Um, the person that I'm talking about is not a friend. It's just a person that I know, that I've met. So, yeah, I only see him every once in a while whenever I go out. So, unfortunately, that's not somebody I can get in contact with. But all I can really do is share with you the conversation that I had with him in regards to talking about, this field. And the kind of opportunities it provides you in your career. So I wouldn't be able to help you find an opening for that position, but I can tell you how to prepare for it because that's what he told me. So just kind of like have on hand a lot of models that you created by hand by yourself if you're interested in taking this position. That is how you prepare for it. Ah, finally. Sorry, I said finally because my reference switched things up here, so now I'm drawing a whole different pose. So I'm going to start with the head. Going to go into the body. Make sure that I have the proportion right here. Now on your back, you have like these shoulder blades. So it makes this part of your back a little bulkier, more round, and then the shoulder blades connect into the diploids, which is your shoulders. Now before I finish the arm, let me get the leg situated. Okay. Got this foot here. The other leg's gonna be over here. Hang on, I didn't make this. Let's make this a little longer here. We're actually gonna put this like that. Yeah. Okay. Then the heel's gonna come out here. Now we got the foot down here. Nice. Did it in time. But yeah, once again, sorry, Mad Art Lover. Okay. But just, I will just say that becoming an artist is a very difficult path, and it's not. When I see a lot of people go into this, everybody makes the same. I don't want to say it's a mistake, but we all make the same assumption that in order to get good in art, all we have to do is just copy things, right? Just copy what we see, and if we're capable of replicating the things that we see visually, then that is how we become good at art. But the reality is that art requires a vast amount of knowledge about things in general. Like you need to know a lot about the things that you're drawing in order to draw it. And that's part of the whole journey to art. So if you want to learn how to draw anything, you have to learn about the things that you want to draw. So if you want to learn how to draw humans, you need to know how humans are like inside and out. Well, I don't want to say you need to, but the more you know about how humans are created, the better you will be at drawing them, I would say is the better thing to say. But yeah, good. I like that attitude. You know Blender, you can learn, and that's the first step. So I like to hear that from you. Love to see it. So from here, it's just learning and applying what you learn. And it's gonna be those little steps. So, nothing is gonna instantly happen, but you take these little steps day by day, little by little, and you'll gradually become very proficient. And, there's a saying that I like that I have been told before, and the saying goes that your effort will never betray you. So, in life, a lot of things can be taken away from you, but, if you work on a particular skill and you get good at it, right, you put a lot of effort into it and you grow in that skill, right, you would always have this skill. It's not gonna, your skill's just not gonna up and disappear and make you feel like you wasted all your time, right? You'll always have it. So that's how I like to think of things when I go into stuff like this, right? Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say that I want to draw art and make millions of dollars, right? No, I simply just want to make art and be able to communicate visually what I want to be communicated and the way I want it to be communicated. That keeps me satisfied, and that's pretty much what I'm in for it for. And that's why I put so much time into it, and I practice and I work so hard, just because I get that satisfaction of being able to take my ideas and bring them to life. The way I see it, it's like, the whole money aspect, it's like a byproduct of just what my abilities are. That's all it really is for me. And I think that's a good way to, like a good perspective of looking into it. Okay. All right, Mad Art Lover, thanks for showing up. Thanks for chatting. I hope, some of the info that I gave you was pretty helpful. And, I wish you luck. I'll be back on stream later today, working on a commission actually. But in terms of the practice streams, I'm on the weekdays at 1 p.m. So I'll see you next time, okay? Thanks for coming. Interesting, the way this muscle shapes in. Wow. I didn't know it bulges like that. Okay. Oh, hold up. There we go. I feel like I really should have made the legs bigger. Let me just. Yo, what is up with my mini pad today? I got commission due later. This better stop being like this. Alright, I'm on layer 9 on the third drawing. Once I hit layer 10, it's 4 more drawings to go, and I'm pretty much done practicing for today. So we are nearing the end of the stream. Well, the practice stream, that is. And as I said before, I will be back later to work on a commission on stream. And hopefully that goes well. I say that because, you know, streaming runs a lot of power on your PC or on your device. My device is very tiny. I don't think it's built to be able to do, you know, the whole streaming thing. And yeah, I want to give it a shot, and we'll see how that goes. But, you know, if my computer has trouble processing everything, then at least for now, perhaps live streaming a commission with, you know, music playing in the background and whatnot might not be a thing that I can do until I upgrade my equipment, which will take a long time. So, you know, unless I get a lot of support from you guys, especially from the comic that I'm dropping next month. So, you know, if you want to support me, please look me up on Webtoons, because that's the platform that I'm going to be putting the comic on. And, you know, that would be a great way to support me. And you know, I plan on using all of that support to continue to build up on the equipment and better provide service for everyone. There we go. All right, and the 2 minutes are up. Right. So you see what I mean when I say that you start off with the body first and then you get the legs in, and you kind of like you're in a good spot in terms of like where you're shaping the body. You know, in the body's position and where it's at. Yikes. Okay, let's try that again. Hands.
All right. I'm gonna start with the body. We're on the last layer. We've got 4 more sketches left.